Today I'm going to show you 2 hip stretches that you should try if you have lower back pain. These are very helpful for people who are generally stiff and inflexible. If you are somebody who's really flexible, like a yoga practitioner or a former dancer, and you are just bendy wendy, then these are probably not going to help you. But if you're a stiff old dude, or you're a stiff young dude, or you're a stiff young gal, try these out and see how your back feels. I can't guarantee they're going to work, but they're a good place to start to help you restore some of your hip mobility, your flexibility, and that's gonna make your back feel a whole lot better. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. The first stretch I want you to try is for your quads. So these muscles right here can pull you into anterior pelvic tilt, and that can cause some compression in your lower back. And if you do that long enough, it starts to get uncomfortable. And if you're doing any sports that require you to do any sort of impact mitigation, you're gonna start feeling it in your low back. If you're a weightlifter and you're doing a lot of weightlifting, and you're running a lot, and these muscles are just getting super dense, then it's a really good idea to try to stretch these guys out. Otherwise, you're just gonna be stuck. So one way to do that is to literally just grab your ankle and pull your foot towards your butt. But since you're so tight, like I know what's going on. You probably can't even reach your foot, or when you went to grab like this, it cramped in your hamstring. So what you can do is just grab a seat, a bench, a couch, whatever, and then try to get your foot on there. So I know it might not be so easy for you, but maybe work it up on here and sneak it in, and then you can start squeezing this butt cheek. You might feel some stretch already. The more knee bend you get, the more it's gonna stretch the quads, or think about moving the butt more towards the heel, and that's gonna help you. What you don't wanna do is crank into your low back to lean like this. That's not a quad stretch, that's cranking your low back. So you can also lower yourself down here, and that's gonna stretch your quads some more. That's a pretty simple way to trick your quads and get a quad stretch on. I have some other options that you can use to try to get that quad stretch that I will link to in the description box. But again, it's foot on here, and then slowly working yourself lower, working your butt closer to the heel, getting more knee bend so that you can feel that stretch through the thigh, not directly in the knee joint. You don't want to feel like that's popping or exploding, so be gentle with it. And then you can just work on sinking a little deeper so that stretch is going all around the quad. 30 to 60 seconds, great way to start. And then over time, work yourself into longer stretches. Depending on your lifestyle, you may need to be doing these stretches every single day. You might benefit from doing them multiple times a day, especially if you're sitting in a chair and then you go straight from the chair to like another chair at the gym and you do some exercise bike, or you do the rower, or you do basically anything. Like if you're running or lifting weights and doing squats, you're just building those muscles up, shortening them up, and you might need to stretch them out a whole lot more before you start to feel some relief. After you've done the quad stretches, check in, see how the tension feels in your low back. It's very likely that it has relieved some of that tension. I've seen that pattern for myself. I've seen it on a lot of clients over the years. No, I don't see clients anymore, so please don't ask. But if you have low back pain, just try doing some quad stretching and see how that affects your low back. A lot of times it feels much better. Which brings us to number 2. Just want to take 1 second to ask you to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. For every like and every new subscriber from now to the end of 2024, I am donating 1 cent to the Wounded Warriors. So please consider hitting that like button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just going to mean that I give money to the Wounded Warriors. I appreciate your support of this channel and also of the soldiers who have given their lives, their energy, and their bodies to serving our country, whether they agreed with whatever was going on politically, whatever strategic decisions were being made above them. They sacrificed themselves to serve this country, and I believe we should support those who have suffered injuries, both internal and external, in the service of our country in situations that maybe they didn't even want to be in. So hit that like button. It supports this channel, it supports the Wounded Warriors, and it won't cost you a dime. Now let's get back to it. You're gonna need a couch, a bench, a chair. I'm raising this up just to make it easy for you to see, but you can do it on a lower surface. It's not that big of a deal. So it's gonna be a pigeon stretch variation. So pigeon stretch is when you're on the floor in yoga and you've got your leg out in front of you, and then you're folding forward over that leg, right? You're going, oh yeah, I'm so bendy, flexible, right? But for a lot of people, you just can't get the right leverages. You're not flexible enough to even start there. This is a really nice way to start. You find an elevated surface and then you just put your foot and your leg on there. So you don't have to get the knee flat down. In fact, it can be really helpful to have something under your knee to help you get a better stretch into your glutes. Magic. So now I've got a yoga block under my knee. You can put a pillow, a cushion, whatever. That helps take some strain away from the knee, and I find it also helps you focus the stretch a little bit better into the glutes. So you've got your leg out in front of you and you're just gonna start leaning forward. If you have your leg up too high, it's gonna be a little bit tough to feel like you're getting the right stretch. So play around with the height. Right now, I think going here is gonna feel a little better for me, and then I'm just going to sink over that hip. And notice I'm not just bending my upper back to do this. I'm really trying to focus the sensation here. If you are really stiff in these butt muscles, you might not go very far. Like right now, I'm actually surprised that I feel tension right here, because yesterday I was feeling super bendy, super Gumby-like, and I was able to get really low with no tension. Not today. Today I'm a little more stiff, so I'm just gonna hang out here. Breathe. Now, one thing I can do is use some contractions. I can push my knee down into the block and feel those glute muscles fire, and then I can relax and see if I can sink a little bit further. Another thing I can do is try to fire the muscles that close things down, that close this angle down. So I can fire, thinking about pulling my knee up, think about pulling my belly forward, and then relax and see if I can go a little bit further, and I can. I know for me, that cue of firing the inner thigh muscles to lift my knee up actually helps me a lot. It helps relieve a lot of the stiffness in my hips. Might not be the same for you. You're gonna have to experiment and see how it goes for you. The firing of the glutes, really helpful as well for some people. And then relax and back down. Now you can see it from the front. I'm aiming for my knee right now, but I can also play around with this and aim for my ankle or aim for mid-shin, wherever I want. That gives me a stretch in that butt. And really, please do not force this. Remember that slow is safe and fast is fuller. So if you feel like there's tension building in the knee, back off. If you feel like you're gonna hurt something in your glute, back off. Just stay where you feel like, okay, that's a decent stretch, that's a decent challenge, and let the muscles loosen up. Let them learn how to be a little bit longer. So if I'm here and I feel like, not gonna happen, start using some of those contractions lightly, gently at first. Don't just rush into like a maximum contraction, just 10, 20, 30% contraction, hold it for a little bit, relax it, and then see what happens. You're gonna find that as you improve your connection to those muscles, they're going to improve their ability to do the new things that you're trying to get them to do. These glute muscles can get pretty stiff and bound up. It can feel like they add a whole lot of pressure to your low back. Your whole pelvis and spine just don't feel like they move freely, and that's going to make your low back hurt. So just focus on getting a little more stretch and mobility here, and then after you're done, see how things feel. Move your pelvis around. You might notice that your low back no longer feels so constricted. So when you're doing this stretch, you're definitely doing it on both sides. I would suggest you do at least 1 minute to 2 minutes with each side, and then definitely do 2 sets, maybe 3 sets. Same goes for the quad stretching, 2 sets on each side at a minimum. And with both of these stretches, if you find that one side is stiffer or weaker than the other side, then make sure that you do an extra set, or at least some extra time for that stiffer side. It'll really help you clear up some of this hip stuff that leads to low back pain, and that will help you live a much more comfortable life. Let me know how these 2 back pain stretches felt for you by dropping me a comment down below. And if you've got any other back pain tips you want to share, feel free to share them in the comment section down below. If you want a comprehensive, structured approach to fixing your back pain or freeing up your hips, I encourage you to go to uprighthealth.com/DIY and check out my programs like the Healthy Hips program or the Back Pain Fix. Both programs will help you rebuild your body at home, so I encourage you to check them out. But if you're not ready to spend any kind of money on these fancy newfangled courses, then be sure to check out some of my free content on YouTube. I'm going to link to free resources in the description box and also at the very end of this video to help you with your hips and your back pain. Please also hit the like button. From now to the end of 2024. I'm donating 1 cent to the Wounded Warriors for every single like and every new subscriber. So please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. For more free videos to help you with your back pain and hip pain, be sure to check these out right here. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't.